Hey, this is Dane here. Welcome to episode 4 of the Outcast 7 podcast. We'll be covering Fab. We got quite a bit to go over tonight. I'd like to open up. Today we got Blake with us as well as Jason. No Mark tonight, but want to just point
He's
out.
up muskie fishing.
He is. Muskie Marco's out hunting for some muskies. We actually got reached out to by Top Deck TCG. You want to talk a little bit about what they got going on?
Yeah, we got reached out to by Top Deck TCG. They started carrying Fab here in the States, which is super cool for us. Obviously, we don't have a ton of retailers carrying it, and they hooked us up with a sweet promo. So if you go to topdecktcg.com and you type in the promo Outcast Haven, you get 10% off your whole order, which is really cool. And we're really excited about that partnership. So go check them out.
My first thought was, okay, like, are they going to be competitively priced? It's obviously a big concern before we start promoting somebody. And we actually know them from one of the games the game that we were playing when we first all got together and started playing together, Star Wars Destiny. And they worked with a couple of the content creators there, and we bought from them before. I think we even did like some secondary market stuff just like on Facebook groups with the guy. So Chris,
he bought some stuff from me.
Yeah.
Chris is a good dude.
We have worked with Chris in the past unknowingly, and then he reached out to us. And yeah. So getting into what we're going to be covering tonight, we've got just our week in gaming. I'll have people kind of go through what they've gone through this week. I know Jason's got some updates or thoughts on his time, because actually last Saturday.
So it was a TTS tournament.
Yeah.
It was put on Saturday for us. And actually, Dane, you were the one that requested if they could change their times around, because the first tournament they held on Friday night, we were unable to participate in because it would have been at 2 a.m. Thursday, and we have to work Fridays, unfortunately. But then they were awesome and put one on at 11 a.m. on a Sunday, which hit us at 6 p.m. stateside here in Central Time Zone. So I was the one that did not have a ton of stuff going on this weekend, and I was able to participate. And the first thing I would like to say is thank you to everybody I played. Everybody was amazing. We chatted after the games until the moderator came in and said, hey, the pairings are up for game 2, 3, or 4. So we just sat there and talked. Lots of tips, because everybody I played, starting with Carol, who does Session Blood podcast, he was my first matchup. Mirror match. We went over the match afterwards. Been playing, I believe he said he plays 2 to 3 TTS tournaments a week. So the experience that we are not getting here stateside was great to get from them. My second match was against Toby Firth. He was running Azalea. Super close match we had. Learned a lot from him, how he was running Azalea. Another person that's doing a lot of TTS tournaments and has experience that we don't have in tournaments.
Yeah, it's nice that they kind of offered that invite out to the general Facebook group, just because we want that experience, right? Like, we're trying to get as into the competitive scene as we can get. So having them reach out like that was awesome.
Yeah.
I honestly wasn't expecting that quick of a turnaround when I asked him, because as soon as he posted, I was like, oh man, I can't make it now that I asked him to schedule stuff earlier in the days on their end. So oh well, I'm glad one of us got to rep it.
Yeah,
and go and learn.
And I just want to give shout outs to my last 2 matches. Match 3 was Kale. I'll call him the Bravo King. He did the developer challenge. We spoke quite at length after our match, just going over different lines of play, which was amazing. And then finally, I believe this was my Dorinthia matchup. Tough matchup for me personally, and Harry was playing that one. And I'm sorry, Harry, but Harry K. Kalairu. Sorry about your last name, but thank you. Great insight. And he even offered to help run my wife through some of the lines to get on. So one of these weekends when we can both get on when time zones match up. So a morning for him and an evening for us, where he can get on and run my wife through some of the lines, even though she doesn't need it because she always destroys me a ton as it is. So
yeah, I think that's kind of our next step, honestly. Like, I'm hoping that after we start playing a little more regularly in their TTS leagues, that we can, just connect with them in an unofficial capacity too, and just start like chatting on Discord. And I don't know if they've got groups over there already set up, but I'd love to just, pick their brains, talk about what we're playing, what they're playing, ask for advice, because I do think that we're behind a little bit here stateside. Just getting caught up, I think, is going to be super nice to start making those connections, and I'm excited to get to know those guys. So
it was definitely a lesson for me from us all playing in a lot of
Mhm.
competitive scenes. It was
Yep.
awesome. Great lesson. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, awesome call out. Blake, anything from this week in Fab gameplay?
I mean, we had a really good time just having a chance to play some live stream games and hang out with people on Tuesday, which was a ton of fun. I know we're going to keep doing that. And it was fun just to get on and play some games and have a little interaction in the comment section and do those kind of things. So I'm excited for that to continue to grow and continue to be something we can do to just connect with the community. And then hopefully, if we can time it out right, set it up right, maybe we can start having a guest on here and there and just have somebody come on and play with us and hang out with us. That would be a super fun way to connect with people too.
Yeah, as it grows, for sure. That'd be, I know that in some of the Destiny stuff, like they'd pull people into their chat, stuff like that, like as they were watching and observing. We'd love to do stuff like that. Obviously first live stream, still growing a little bit. It was awesome to have Chris participating, and Alan popped in there and was talking about being a new player and learning. Love that. So that was awesome to see too. So throughout the rest of the cast here, we'll go over some of the decks that we're playing now, and thoughts on spoilers, I think, is going to be a good chunk of it, because we've got quite a few that we've had spoiled since the last podcast. So we've got some thoughts on a lot of the cards that have come out. We'll talk through those. And for those of you listening, we'll be sure this time to read out what the cards actually say, so you're not missing out, not being able to actually see it. And then got some plans that we kind of want to go over for release day, because we're going to be doing, now that we've got the live stream skill in our tool belt, I think that we're going to plan on doing a little live stream action on release day. So that should be good as well. We'll hit that at the end. So decks, what's everyone playing? What they play this week? How you feeling about it? What do you think about the spoilers, updating it? Jason, you want to hit us off?
Sure. Yeah, I play Bravo. I learned a lesson in dropping from a constructed deck to a blitz deck. Completely different. It's a different game altogether. I do like it. It was amazing to play in that blitz format. Had very little experience going into it, and I learned a ton. There's a lot of little cute things that I did you absolutely cannot do in it.
Potions and
so my potions.
and
I
stuff,
put potions in and tomes and Kale's like, that's very cute, but it doesn't work. And the consistency of the deck was not there. So, and Dane, you've always preached consistency in every game we've played. That's your motto, is consistency. And I think that's, you get 40 cards, make it consistent. So do what you want. So Bravo's my deck. Super excited, and we'll dive into it later in the podcast, but super excited for Ranger to add something to Ranger.
Yeah. What about you, Blake?
So the deck that I've been actually on primarily, which is funny because I started on Bravo, enjoyed it, but then I got Dorinthia and just fell in love with Dorinthia. That's been the deck that I've been playing primarily. I really enjoy it. I like the ability to, strategize a turn, set up a turn to try and continue to push that Dawn Blade counter up and really get some huge swings. I think that's a really interesting mechanic in the deck, and I like to do that. And it's funny because I think the spoilers, for an opposite reason, have me excited for kind of my second deck, which is Dash. Jason's excited because Azalea is going to get some tools that make it more competitive. Dash is actually going to get ticked back, I think, a little bit, because other things are going to get some ways to combat Dash, which actually gets me excited because, as all of my game buddies know, I have a real aversion to playing decks that feel like they're show up and win and play like the best deck in the meta. I have an aversion to that. So I'm excited for Dash to be more of a head game and require a lot more thinking and matchup strategizing and going in. So I'm pumped for that.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting that Dash is not by any means like a helmet deck. Like, he definitely takes a lot of like sequencing and
absolutely.
But I think that your aversion to it's funny because you were most excited for Dash when we first started, and I remember you talking about like you love the aesthetic and you love the play style, and you found out that it was like a really hyper meta deck, and you were like, oh, I'm gonna play Dorinthia just because of that aversion, which was really funny to me. But yeah, just totally your play style, and you love like brainstorming random decks and weird stuff that ends up working most of the time, and I think that's why I'm excited to see what you do with this new set. But myself, I've got Katsu's probably my main constructed. I just love the aesthetic, love the play style. We talk about consistency, and I think for a combo deck, because I actually don't play combo decks in like the other games that we play. I'm not a big combo deck guy. I like multiple lines and routes that kind of get you to the same spot, but you've got multiple options pretty much at all times, and using that thought process to figure out, what's the best line here based on what they most likely have available to them. That's kind of like I don't like the wombo combo stuff, so it's funny that I'm playing the only deck that literally has the combo keyword. But
it's good for you.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for me, and I'm really excited with what they got coming out, because in our live stream this week, my focus was and I think we all kind of went into it with the focus of helping me try to make Katsu somewhat playable in Blitz, because I do think it struggles in Blitz. A lot of the things that Katsu does really well, they don't have the opportunity in Blitz to set that up. Like, I think that his consistent small damage that sets up for larger turns, and having the high health in Classic Constructed that allows you to take that damage on the turn that you need to have the big combo in hand, and I'll have all those cards in hand for the combo. That's not really feasible, especially into the decks that you guys playing Bravo and Dorinthia. So
I think we need to commend you, because you've stuck with Katsu and just took an whooping. I mean, you pre-played trying to find lines. It didn't work against Dorinthia, and you just stick with it. I mean, that's true trooper mentality.
I love the deck, man.
With it.
And I think I over messed with it going into our live stream Tuesday. I created what I thought was going to make for a little bigger turns with less reliance on the combo pieces. I think the only combo pieces I ran head jab and open the center, and everything else was just like good attacks, good single attacks, or good things that like boosted a single attack. I was running like plunder runs, and so I actually threw slogisms in there. I was really hoping for the slogism on an open the center that was just hitting you for like a 10 damage, go again, dominate. So, but
you're not Bravo.
I know. I tried to be. I was like, how can I put pressure on? How can I put the pressure on the other person that I'm getting pressure put on me with? But it didn't really work out. I think, honestly, seriously, this card spoiled that we'll get into in the spoilers here for Katsu, make him a little more playable, hopefully in Blitz. And actually, we'll just get into that stuff. But my second deck, Viziertronic, really excited. I think what they've spoiled for him gives him some really interesting Blitz options. That chest piece, like, we'll get into that too. But
can we just throw out one thing?
Yeah.
After seeing all the spoilers, it is absolutely amazing how the meta is going to change. With there's so many cards with decks that are going to slow down certain decks, which will bring up other decks. Dude, I'm so pumped. So excited for a week from tomorrow, or a week from today, a week from Friday, wherever you are in the world, a week from Friday. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I think that this set, honestly, is pretty much everything I wanted. My hopes and dreams for what the set was going to be are being totally vindicated right now. And it's awesome, because I was hoping for a bunch of new armor. I was hoping for some new cards that would change up the play lines of different decks. Cool weapons. I think we're getting all of it. Like,
you add amazing decks to an amazing community. It's just an absolutely amazing game right now. I just think the state of the game and where we're going with it, it's awesome. I'm super pumped. I know we all are, because we've been pretty giddy about it as we're looking at the spoilers as they come out. So yeah, super
all night
pumped.
If that's what it takes to see these spoilers.
Up all night. All right, well, let's hop right into the spoilers. So we'll start with the weapons here. First up, we've got my lovely, the Zephyr Needle. So
Did they spoil the pin cushion for that to go into? I haven't seen that yet.
No, they don't have they haven't spoiled
okay.
anything
Just
for Bravo yet.
I think
I
that's.
see.
I
see.
I was gonna say. I think you set that card down at the beginning of every game for Dane, right? The pin cushion, aka Bravo. Isn't that the goal?
Yeah, I'll take the little hits and then I'll just slam you with my hammer on your head for 32.
Yeah.
I don't care. Whatever.
Ow, 2. Let me clap back for 12.
So Zephyr Needle, once per turn action, 1 resource, attack, go again. It's a one-handed weapon. And if Zephyr Needle is defended by a card with the shield value greater than Zephyr Needle's attack value, which is 2, destroy Zephyr Needle when the combat chain closes. So, as I understand the rules now and as they're currently written, that's value printed. So, if you block with a 3 against this, then this will get destroyed at the end of that combat chain. So, people are talking about possibly having things that, up the printed value, or if they rule this where make some ruling where it doesn't get destroyed as easily. I actually don't mind it as is. I think that two attack weapons that they break if you block with more of them, but you get the attack still. I actually really like how dynamic this play could be, especially late game, trying to draw out like a block with them thinking, okay, I can literally make them destroy one of these weapons if I block with this. So I like that sort of dynamic poker game a little bit. I think that's going to be really interesting, but also waiting, drawing out blocks early or making them decide if they want to block your attack actions and save a block for a possible Zephyr Needle swing at the end of your turn, or just saving your Zephyr Needles for the end of the turn when they've got 1 card in hand. Okay, are they going to block with their last 3 in hand to break your Zephyr Needle and then go into their turn with nothing? I think that, and having 2 of them, giving you that option to, even if they block one of them and destroy it, you still got something to swing with. I really like this. It's just going to be fun. It's going to be a lot more dynamic and more of a head game. So I like it. You guys have any thoughts?
I think
it's average.
I think the thing that's probably good for Ninja with it is the fact that it has built-in go again.
Yeah. It's not contingent.
You don't get bogged down by some contingency that sometimes you can't meet or throws you out of your combo, or just requires you to do something that maybe you don't want to do, pitch a card that you don't want to pitch. It puts you in a place where it's always online. You always have an option to do it. And to your point, Dane, if they seem like they're really holding something because they just need it for the next turn, and you get to that point, you put them in a place at the end of your turn where if you've got a floating or you got a card for 2, you don't just get 1 because now you don't have the contingency of the Kodachis, and also you don't have a deck building contingency to put the right cards in for the Kodachis. You can just build a deck free and clear, basically, where you're never concerned with the trying to get the sequencing of the Kodachis right. And you can just say, I'm going to attack, I'm going to combo, and I'm going to, if I end on a go again and they have no cards in hand, or if they have a couple cards in hand and they think they want them, let's just throw these Zephyr Needles at them. Let's just see if they'll take them.
No, and honestly, like I'm thinking like mid game, like mid to late game, they're taking all your damage from your combo chain that you're throwing at them, and they're taking it, and they've got 3 cards in hand, and you're like, wow, they really want to keep those cards. I'm going to throw a 2 attack at them, see if they want to break my weapon or not, see if they're willing to give up their big swing turn for blocking this 2 to break my weapon. And if they do, okay, I've got 1 more. That's okay. But if they don't, that's just a free 2 damage. So I think that head game is going to be super fun. I'm really excited for it. But that the zero cost chain that came out.
You have Heron's Flight as one of them.
That's one of the finals.
Soulbeat Strike.
Soulbeat Strike is the most broken card released so far. I don't think so. I just think
it needs to hit to get go again.
Fine center.
That's not what makes it broken. It's the fact that you look at a Light and Strike, a generic that they made very, very strong, 0 cost. Anytime you can do 4 damage and not have to pay a thing for it, that's insane. That's absolutely insane.
It's good.
Insane
Don't
card.
Get me wrong. I'm not trying to argue you or defend that it's not good. Like, it's good. I'm excited. I don't like the contingent go again. We'll get into a little bit we got the armor pieces that have been spoiled too that we'll pull up here.
I think Ninja's interesting though because there are so many contingencies in pulling off combos. You draw into the combo or you get access to the combo, and then your opponent does have the ability to just outright shut it down. And also, you do run a lot of freeze, but there is a point where you have to be careful about your balances and your deck building, where the 0 for 4 is great, but in classic Fab fashion, it's balanced by only having a 1 pitch value for that. So do you run those reds and risk getting
the deck that I've got building itself in my head right now is a lot of free cards and a lots of yellows and reds for Ninja now. I don't think you need to run the zero cost blue cards, because I honestly,
I don't think you do either. You just
the thing that I'm most excited for is that State of Zen.
I think
getting that to go off and getting that protection for 2 turns is going to help, especially in Blitz.
I just think as you add in the Zephyr Needle and you swing with that first, right? As a Bravo player, I know I can block that with a 3 damage, but I also know you're giving that go again. So you have a free 4 card attack coming behind that. That's got a combo piece.
Needle first. Just saying.
But you could. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
Because I have no idea what you're going to do with your turn. If you have 4 cards in hand, I'm not swinging with Zephyr Needle first, because you might have a bunch of garbage cards that I'm not doing anything by making you pitch one of them or making you block with one of them. I'm not hurting you.
But if you have garbage cards, you shouldn't be in your deck. I'm just saying, you swing with the Zephyr Needle first. If you waste a 3 block on that too, you're getting 0 efficiency.
How about this? I'm not going to argue with you right now, because I feel like I've got a decent idea for how to play it, and I'll just show you when it comes out. We'll do it in the live stream.
No, I'm just saying I think it's a good swing, because you need to make the most efficient way of every one of your cards. So if I block a 2 for 3, the same way that Ninja's always done well is by doing the 1 ping damage. If I block that just to destroy that first thing, and you can get into a combo piece that you're doing for free and I have no blocks left, that's where you're going to get your 10 damage.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, we got lots of spoilers to get through, so we don't need to keep pounding Zephyr Needle. I appreciate you guys giving me all the time to talk about it. So next, we've got Redliner, which is the bow for Azalea that was spoiled. Jason, I know you're excited for Azalea. What do you think about this bow?
So the big discussion on this bow right off the bat was that the current bow gives you a card draw, right? But you have to pay a resource. So you're losing a card to get the ability to put it into your arsenal and then draw a card. My thought behind this card with Redliner is the same way that we look at other card games, is the known factor is what you have in your hand. So if I spend one of these known cards and I pitch it to take an unknown card, I know I'm placing it in my arsenal. What if I haven't really gained anything except for the unknown? Whereas now with the Redliner, for free, I can take like a headshot. I can take a lot of the cards that I can put in my arsenal that give me an advantage for putting them face up in my arsenal. And I'm doing that for free. And it's a known quantity when I put it in there. Yep. Huge. That's totally fair. So to me, everybody's saying, oh, you don't get the card draw. I don't want the card draw. I want what I know I have in my hand. I will set up getting rid of cards by using my arsenal and using other turns for blocking to do that. I like this. Big fan that I don't have to pitch a card to grab one, that I can just put what I want in my arsenal. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, I think like opting was probably the argument for being able to see what's on top of your deck and then load your arsenal. But I feel like that's just that's more moving pieces, that when you're going for that consistency, I think that your point towards the known quantity versus the either spending resources or some, like, not literal resources, but resources as far as like your headpiece or something like that in order to opt and see what you've got on top of your deck in order to set up your Death Dealer's play. I think that being able to just do this and have the consistency of doing this is going to be really nice. So
yeah, because sometimes playing Azalea, I have a card that I have to pitch that I would love to have in my hand still. Now I can just throw the card that I want in. If it's a combo piece or an attack reaction, I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
so I like it.
Throw it in and go.
Card game players get married to the word card draw. They see card game players, just no matter what game you go to, it feels like they see that phrase draw a card and they just get too excited. And sometimes all sense goes out of their broom. They forget the sense of the fact that, not just because you can draw a card doesn't make something better.
Yep. Fair point. All right, good. We just made up the time on that one for going
I mean,
over
if
the
you want to
Zephyr
argue
Needle.
more, let's go, Dane. I'm ready
No,
for you.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that argument with you, Jason. I had a long day at work today. I'm fine with just going through these and giving our 2 cents. Oh, for those that are
on.
listening, because I didn't read it. Once per turn action, 0 cost. This is the red liner. Once per turn action, 0 cost. If you have no cards in your arsenal, put an arrow card from your hand face up into your arsenal and then go again. So it's just the elimination of what we just talked about from the Death Dealer and just basically giving you what's in hand free. Don't have to spend anything for it. So yeah, Jason's points I think valid. I think it'll be good. All right, moving on. Plasma Barrel Shot, Mechanologist, Rifle. Blake, this is your baby. What do you think about this gun?
I think this one's super interesting just because it gives Mechanologist more play lines. With the fact that the meta probably becomes a little more dynamic, one of the things that I think people are going to want to be able to do is to flex their deck from matchup to matchup more. And I think that's what this does. In some matchups, especially we haven't seen all the cards that are coming out. You don't know what's going to happen. I think seeing things like the Ninja Zen state really affects the fact that Mechanologist could be ticked back by that card hitting the board because it just really minimizes the damage you're able to push through, while Mechanologist really wants to be an aggro deck and kind of burn you down early. So in that matchup, you just sit down across Ninja and you go, let's not shoot small, let's shoot big. Let's make it so let's kind of neutralize Zen state. And it becomes more of a meta game where you know that's happening probably in my head. So do you lean into it, or do you lean away from it and hope that I go into the Plasma Barrel and you just take that Zen state out and try to mess with me, or vice versa? Do I think, you know what, maybe he thinks I'm going to go Plasma Barrel, so maybe we don't do that? And it just adds a level of dynamic play inside the game that's a lot of fun, I think, where it becomes about the player skill level and skill cap rises when you add more moving parts, and the ability to now choose as the Mechanologist to say, I'm going to rely on my boost cards to do a bunch of pings, and then I'm going to just blow you out of the water with the Plasma Barrel.
Right.
Is really a cool way to affect the game state.
Yeah, no, I think that it's going to be super interesting. And to your point, I think that adding in all of these different weapons, adding in all the different armor pieces, and having those built in as like your swaps going into different matchups is going to make that skill cap rise. It's going to definitely reward people for thinking ahead and for having a game plan into different matchups. That's going to be something that you'll see for sure rise to the top. Plasma Barrel Shot, for those listening. Once per turn action, this is a lot of wording. Remove a steam counter from the Plasma Barrel Shot attack. Action, 2 resources. If there are no steam counters on Plasma Barrel Shot, put a steam counter on it and then go again. So typical, just like your plasma pistol, the pistol that Dash uses.
Yeah.
And then, so the attack value on this is X, where X is equal to 1 plus the number of times you've boosted this combat chain. So when Blake was talking about boosting a ton before shooting with this, I was talking about boosting up that attack value. So 1 all the time, and then +1 for every time you boosted prior to shooting. So yeah, I think that'll be super interesting, and being able to swap that in and out, especially with the I don't have it here, but the plasma.
Tecloplasma. Is it Tecloplasma? What is it?
No. I'm talking about the new item that was spoiled. That new item might make the pistol better because it specifically works with the pistol, not this Plasma Barrel Shot plasma rifle thing. So Cintari Saber, once per turn action, 1 resource attack. If Cintari Saber is defended by an attack action, it gains +1 until the end of turn. What do we think about this, Blake?
I mean, I think this is strong just because of Dorinthia's ability, and then the spoiled Twinning Blade. Dorinthia's ability, when you read it, it's once per turn per weapon. So you can't get both swords. If you dual wield the sabers, you can't trigger both of them in an additional attack with her ability. But paired with Twinning Blade, which allows you to attack an additional time with a target sword, means that if someone uses an attack action and it gains that 1, then if the first one hits, you get to swing with that first one again. Then you swing with the second one if you can find a way to just trigger go agains, and then you can twinning blade to attack again. It just allows for the potential for these huge turns where you're not swinging as big necessarily, and it kind of puts Dorinthia in a place where maybe she flexes into a little bit more of an aggro deck if it wants to be, where Dawnblade is able to put out a lot of aggression. It also relies on one swing, so if you can block it with more cards, it's okay. And you overblock it because it's attack reactions. You see people overblock all the time just in case that you can't afford that attack reaction. If you don't have if you don't have a defense reaction, then you just block 6 instead of taking 6. So these allow for more of a flex into swing 2, swing 2, swing 2, swing 2, or potentially swing 2, swing 3, swing 2, swing 3, where you're just putting a lot of aggression. It's a lot to block. It takes a lot of your hand to block that many small swings and not eat up your life.
Yeah, for sure. Jason.
What I like about it is the fact that if you can give this go again and they use an attack action to defend that first turn, now you can re-swing with that for 3. Then
give it another
if you can give that go again and they defend again, the next one would get +2, I would imagine, right?
It would be at +2. Yeah.
It'd be at +2.
Yeah, so then you're swinging for 4 on 3, and so it makes, what I like about it is it just makes the game more dynamic as a defense. What do I defense with? Because if I use this card, I'm given a +1 with the go again. I know they can swing. Do they have another go again where they're going to be swinging another time and I only have defense, or I only have attack action cards? It just makes the game more dynamic and gives more thought points to each interaction.
Yep, for sure.
Well, and it doesn't change the additional 1 after the defense. So you can defend with a card, it gets the +1, then I still get my reaction, which is where Dorinthia shines, is in her reaction cards. So you boost it up higher to make sure it hits. It still retains that +1 going into the second swing that Dorinthia gives it. So it's a 2 the first time, becomes a 3 when you block, and then I get to boost it with my reactions. And then we go again after that. We get to swing again with it because it hit, and it just starts at a base 3. You block again, it goes up to 4.
Or if they keep that second swing with your first weapon, if they block it again and it's a 4, twinning blade that one, swing with the 4 initially. Like there's lots of different lines for it. I think it'll be super interesting for sure. All right. So Sledge of Anvilheim. This is the new Guardian weapon, the big hammer. This
feels
is
like something
action.
Someone from.
Go ahead.
I say it feels like something that like somebody who fights with Thor, alongside Thor. Like he wields Mjolnir and they wield the Sledge of Anvilheim.
Yeah, exactly. I think immediately like, oh, this is like some Gimli like D&D stuff. Like this would be cool. But anyway, so this is action, 4 resources, attack, straight up, 6 damage or 6 attack. I don't know. I'm not a Guardian player, so I think that
as a Guardian player, it's so easy with your Seismic Surgeon to set up for a 6 attack and then have floating resources and do other stuff. To me, maybe I'm missing something on it. I could be missing something. The flavor text seems pretty decent on it.
So
where
flavor
Eisen's
text.
peak touches the heavens, mighty weapons fit for the gods are forged. Flavor text is great. From that standpoint, I love the card. I don't know. At 4 for a 6 attack, I mean, ninjas hit me for 4 for 0, and I got to pay 4 for a measly 6. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something on it.
I think what feels odd about it is the fact that you can set up a 6 anyway with Anathos.
Yeah,
right.
I think the value in this is looking more at what you're running in the deck. So from what I picture, at least, this opens up deck building. You don't have to run all those 3 costs. You don't have to run all that stuff. You can, build it totally different because you're getting that 6 swing no matter what. You're not reliant on cards that, you have to pay. You have to discard or drop or whatever. I don't even know how.
I just don't think you
can those, but
Bravo's not going to function without blue. Bravo's just not going to function. You have 6 cost swings, 7 cost swings. If you're not running a lot of blue, I mean, maybe it's a completely different version of Bravo that we haven't seen, to your point.
Yeah, I think it'll be just.
We haven't seen, but the current card pool. I don't know. We'll see.
And it's possible that this card looks weird in Bravo, but it's just the perfect weapon for another Guardian, because there are going to be more Guardians, and
that's fair.
that could literally be, it could be a card that feels meh in Crucible, but feels amazing next set, or feels amazing with another reveal.
And honestly, with what's been spoiled for Guardian, I'm kind of okay with them having a meh weapon spoiled.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming.
There's some really solid Guardian spoilers.
There's plenty of goodness coming.
Yeah. All right, moving on then. We've got the Mandible Claw, the Claw. This is the brute weapon, one-handed, so you can run 2 of them. It's a once per turn action, 2 resources, attack. If you have discarded a card with 6 or more, this turn Mandible Claw gains go again. So typical brute, discard a card with 6 or more attack.
Could you imagine if somebody thought this was a Guardian card, a Bravo card when it first came out? Could you imagine if somebody's like, "Oh my god, I'm excited for this"?
I loved your explanation when you said that. Yeah. So Robert, we call him illiterate. I think that Jason might be in the running for that too. That
I might
that
be.
comment you made, I was like, oh god, he knows that that's a brute weapon, right?
It was a big disappointment for me.
Yeah,
it's so cool looking.
Yeah, it does not match the aesthetic of Bravo at all, but that's okay.
Should we ask for Mark's thoughts? Mark, what do you think? Okay,
yeah.
That's great. Yeah, thank you, Mark.
And then you're like, oh, it's just because brute looks like Bravo. So I thought it's a Bravo weapon, and I'm like, that's also not how it works.
I literally saw BR and thought Bravo in my head, and I'm like, this is amazing. No, Jason, that's not how that one works.
Yeah, so I think it'd be super interesting to give Reinar a couple go again, 3 attacks. Just make everyone better Katsus. That's fine. We'll be fine. All right. Anyone else have any thoughts on this, or we'll just keep moving on?
We'll keep moving on. That's Mark. Mark missed his calling on this one.
That's all right. I'm sure we'll catch his input later.
He only gets 2 of them, so we'll be fine.
Yep. All right. So now we got this Talishar the Lost Prince, which is the generic sword. It's a 2-handed sword. Once per turn action, 2 costs. Put a rust counter on Talishar the Lost Prince and attack. It's a 4 attack. At the beginning of your end phase, if Talishar the Lost Prince has 3 or more rust counters on it, destroy it. So we see another weapon that can be destroyed. What do you guys think of this? I don't know that it really, like a 2 cost for 4 attack, that's pretty good. And I don't know if you attack much more than 4 times, depending on what you're running, I suppose. But I think it's interesting, especially for being a generic.
I think it's just cool to have a generic weapon, and the deck building options, as Blake pointed out earlier, we don't know the new characters that are coming, who could use this, who could benefit from it. We don't know if there's going to be a way that destroyed weapons can come back. Can you bring them to a blacksmith card and remake them? Who knows? So I think it's cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think that before the ninja armor was spoiled, I was kind of holding out hope after finding out that their little daggers could be destroyed. I was like, ninja chess piece that you could like set 2 ninja weapons aside, and then for 2 resources remove a destroyed weapon from play and play a set aside ninja weapon or something like that. Would have been super cool to break your daggers and then whip out Kodachis or something. But the legs, meh. Okay. Anyways, any other thoughts on Talishar, Blake? Anything?
I just think the thing that interests me most about it, and about like the Zephyr Needles, is that we have weapons that break now or can be destroyed. So I'm curious if there's not a paired card that goes with them, or some sort of benefit card where you can get a benefit from breaking a weapon. I think it's hard to line up those turns just right, but if you can do it, they've proven in the past, they've proven with other sets that there are things where they benefit some crazy combo happening where you get the right card in hand. Maximum velocity in Mechanologist, where if you've boosted 3 times, you get the chance to play a 10 attack card, and that's just insane. But I think that just proves that there is a space where they allow for some of those wild combos that take a lot of setup or require something to happen and you to get the right card in hand. So it's possible that there's like if you destroyed a weapon this turn, you basically turn the weapon into like 2 weapons, or you get to just whip the weapon at somebody for some bonus attack or something. So I'm interested in that.
Even if they don't have any of that, I think that looking at the different formats, like some of these might be more viable for sure, because just looking at the Zephyr Needles, I think that like Constructed, I might, or classic constructed, I might just stick with Kodachi's because it's consistent, can't be broken. I'm comfortable with that pacing of like the ping damage and stuff like that. But Blitz, you're going 4 or 5 rounds, 6, whatever it may be. Like it's a shorter game, it's a faster game for sure. You break my Zephyr Needles, I'm still going. This Talishar breaks. Okay, you know, I don't swing with it. You probably don't swing with it every round anyways. So I don't know.
Yeah. This could be interesting in something like Ninja that only has two one-handed weapons. Maybe you get a bigger weapon that you can take a hack at somebody for 4 and throw something on top of it in a Blitz format.
The big question here, and this is for you, Dane, as a lore, this is basically a pawn shop.
Yeah.
In the lore.
Yep.
What else is in there? What else is going to come out of there?
Yeah, that art I'm looking
When are you going to tell us, Dane?
I don't know, dude. I'm finding it out as you do. Now that we're getting our workflow down for putting out all this content, I'm excited to actually have some time to put the finishing touches on that lore series I'm working on. But I'm looking. I think it's cool. I'm looking at the cosmic cube there in the background floating there. I'm looking at
just the whole story that they released with this weapon.
Oh yeah, dude, the way that they released
is amazing.
This stuff is cool. Like, it's one of my favorite part about the spoilers is being able to go through and like read the block text next to the card that they're spoiling. I'm like, okay, what's this lore say? Yeah, it's neat.
And everything in that picture. What else is going to pop out? There's so much going on in that picture, and as we've seen all the other pictures, all the cool cards, and all the characters that are in certain cards. I don't know. It's super cool.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll hop into the armor then, I believe, is what we got coming up next year. So we'll start out with the Wizard Arms. So this is the Wizard Equipment Metacarpus Node. So whenever you play a card with an effect that deals arcane damage, you may pay a resource. If you do, that effect deals that much arcane damage +1 at the beginning of the end phase. Destroy Metacarpus Node. It's got Arcane Barrier 1, 0 shields. How do you feel about this?
As a person that's playing Wizard and trying to figure it out as it is, and in my TTS match, my last one, he pulled up Wizard and was showing me some cool ways to combo with it, which we've been working on when we've played, where I've tried to do all the attack on your turn versus on my turn. I mean, we kind of have this effect already where you can deal 1 arcane damage more. So I don't know what this has added to that. I mean, maybe you could pay 2 and do 2 arcane damage more.
So you can do this multiple times on this turn, on the turn that you're doing this ability.
Right. So, I mean, you'd be doing that probably on your opponent's turn to maximize the damage when they run out of cards. So if they're going for a big swing. So how I see this is how I see this. The person swinging for game and they go too far all in, maybe they have 5-6 health left, and you can throw all that arcane damage back, spend your resources, do your instance, and swing back and beat them before they beat you on their turn.
Yeah.
But like you said, I don't know either. It's so hard until we see the rest of the Wizard cards.
Yeah, I haven't looked at Wizard at all, so you'd be the guy as far as our team.
I'm trying to figure it out. I really want to. I really want to be a part
for help and trying to get it figured out.
And I think as a team, once we get these new cards for Crucible as a team, like we always do, we'll sit down, then we'll start smashing some ideas together, and we'll come up with something, I imagine.
Yeah. All right. Then we got Bloodsheath Skeleta. This is the Rune Blade equipment I'm super excited for. So talking about the different formats, I think this helps just across the board anyways, but I think that particularly in Blitz, where you've got a shorter game, where you kind of want those pop-off turns, this is going to be amazing. I love seeing like these armor pieces that promote the pop-off turns. The mechanologist headpiece, stuff like that, that's going to just help you go off is super exciting. So Bloodsheath Skeleta, instant, destroy Bloodsheath Skeleta. The next attack action card and non-attack action card you play this turn gain. This card costs 1 less to play for each rune chant you control. So that means that you're basically able to pop off easier with a lot of the cards that may not be cheapened innately. Like you've got like your Oath of the Arc, or not Oath of the Arknight. Oh, dude, there's too many Arknight cards. Arknight Ascendancy is not it either.
So basically, this is another. You're saving it for game swing, correct, Dane? So
Yeah.
you're waiting for that game swing. You got 6 rune chance out.
Yep.
You can throw one of those expensive resource cards out, and then plus you have all the rune chance, and you just hammer them for. I mean, you could probably with the rune chance do easily over 10 damage.
Yeah, and I mean, so what I'm picturing is like you've got Oath of the Arknight, which is typically like your more expensive card that you play on a Rune Blade turn. Like, you've got to spend, shell out, and then it just boosts your next attack, creates a rune chant token for you. But reducing that cost, letting you maybe keep an extra card in hand, or maybe you don't. Maybe you drop a red card that you weren't going to use that you would have needed to keep in hand and pitch your yellow to be able to pay for that. I think that it's going to be nice. It's going to be really fun to play with. A lot of these equipments that kind of promote that go off turn are going to be really interesting. And it's got 2 armor, which is great too. And it's got the temper keyword. So if you defend with it, you put a -1 counter on it. And when the combat chain closes, destroy it if it has 0 armor. So you get 2 defenses with it, but it gets destroyed after the second defense. So you kind of got to make that decision. Do I want to block with it a second time, or do I want to destroy it to get this benefit? And I think you destroy it to get the benefit. But cool that there's that option if you need it.
I'm curious if there's going to be like Forge for War, like the Guardian card.
Mm-hmm.
If there'll be anything like that for these other classes, especially with now the temper keyword, can you +1 some of your armor to use it, so you get your +2? Now only have 1, but now you +2 it again because you add that 1 with Forge for War, so it doesn't get destroyed. So I'm wondering if we're going to see any generics that beef up armor. It'd be interesting to see.
All right, I might be confusing myself in my own head right now, but if you play Forge for War on an armor piece and give it a +1, right?
Yep.
And then you, or say you're playing a temper piece and it gains a -1 afterwards. The -1 stays after the +1 drops off, right? So it would be, because it's a counter, it's a -1 counter on the card. So after that +1 goes away, it doesn't revert back to 0.
Right, so you use it once, you block for 2, you get a -1. So now you play a Forged for War type card to give it +2 again.
No, I'm talking about the other order. So say you have a fully undamaged armor piece and you play Forge for War, say it's your chess piece, and it is
you wouldn't even lose the counter.
Do you think you wouldn't? I don't know. I don't know how that plays out.
Well, why would you? Because you would do the -1 immediately.
Yep. When it's
and it would be at
3,
2.
Right? And then you drop down.
Yeah.
But it's a counter, so I don't know if the counter stays. I don't know. If you know and you've got
That's a great point.
knowledge, go ahead and throw a comment in the section below. We'd love to have some
I would hope it would stay. I would hope that you could beef that up where you wouldn't take that -1 counter, because it would be the floating counter that leaves.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be cool. Either way. All right, on to the next piece. We've got the aforementioned mechanologist headpiece. So we'll go let Blake take this one.
Yeah, pronounce that, please.
I would call that the Viziertronic Modeli, or 1, depending on, I would assume 1. But
pretty good.
It's interesting that they did the lowercase I for the 1. So it says action, destroy Viziertronic Modeli 1. Whenever you boost this turn, draw a card and put a card from your hand on top of your deck. Go again. And then it has Arcane Barrier 2. I love this just because anything in Mechanologist that makes that thing hum and run like a machine, where you can set up your boost turns if you don't have an opt online. It replaces the opt that you have to destroy, which is what you're probably running now. Just the headpiece where you can destroy it opt 2. That sets up a turn fine, because it lets you set up your turn, but it's just a once. It happens one time if you don't have another thing out. This is just an action whenever you boost. So you just get to set up the next one. If you got another boost in hand and you need a card on top of your deck to be sure that you get that mech card going, you just pop that bad boy on top of your deck. You just set up your next boost, and you're just boosting everything successfully. Honestly, the first thing that came to mind for this was the fact that you could really genuinely set up a play where you can actually get maximum velocity off, which interested me a ton, because that card seems like it could be a ton of fun to actually play.
Yeah.
Do you know what I noticed first on this card?
What's that?
And this is completely unmech. Arcane Barrier 2, which leads me to believe there's going to be way better wizard stuff. that they put Arcane Barrier 2 on this card.
Well, what's the feat? What do the feet have?
Arcane Barrier 1.
Oh, just one?
Yeah. But the fact that you could have, I think that gives Dash a lot of flexibility, or just Mechanologist in general a lot of flexibility, in the fact that without changing out armor pieces to be specific to Wizard, it should play well. I feel like right now Dash in the mech archetype kind of feels like it's the aggro kind of gatekeeper, because it plays fast and, you know, runs into things. And it feels like what this set is doing with some of the counter mech cards and some of the mech cards that we've seen is it's giving the deck a ton of flexibility and almost making it feel like more of a mid-rangey deck that has a good matchup into a lot of things, but maybe doesn't have a great matchup into anything. It just has a ton of flexibility and it's super toolboxy.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I know we all kind of like our toolboxy decks too, except for, I don't know, I feel like Jason kind of likes the big swing, just want to hit him really hard one time and kill him.
I don't know how to have patience. What does
Bravo
that even mean?
Showstopper was made for Jason.
Yeah, basically. All right. Good thoughts on Viziertronic Model 1. We'll just go ahead and call it Model 1.
I'm just going to be because I feel like it.
Courage of Bladehold. Blake, this is another one kind of for you. And Jason, I'm sure you'll see plenty of it too when your wife crushes your
Let's not talk about that. Nightmare.
This one is, I think this one paired with the Sabers, because it says action destroy Courage of Bladehold. Your sword attacks cost one less this turn. Go again. Then it has the temper keyword. I love it because I think paired with the Sabers, with Dawnblade, I think it's good. I don't think it's as good. I think it's made specifically for those Sabers, because it means you can, when you get the hand that has Twinning Blade and you have her effect potentially go off, you've got a lot of your free play cards. It goes so well with the Sabers because it means you have a turn where you're going to pay 0 for your Sabers. So you've got 2 Sabers that could potentially be boosted in power and your damage on each swing by +1, and then everything in your hand, and then Twinning Blade. So you could get 4 swings off without expending any cards for resources from hands, and all 4 of your cards in hand could be used to just further your damage. So I think I don't think it's married specifically to the Sabers. I think you could play it with Dawnblade. I just think it's made to be best utilized with the Sabers.
So the Tunic is still going to be the number one choice over
I don't know,
this,
like, Blitz,
I would assume.
Blitz is this. Like, this is another go-off turn in Blitz.
This thing married with the Sabers and Blitz is good.
Right, so
aggressive.
Yeah. But I think, for longer games, it's possible you still run the Tunic just to get that resource every 3 turns, because you're probably playing, higher number of turns. So I could see either or, but we'll see how it plays. I'm excited for it.
Playing the wife in a lot of Blitz games, Tunic, she ends up destroying it much sooner than getting a lot of the abilities out of it, just because you kind of need to use it.
Yeah. All right. Next, Breeze Rider Boots. This was an interesting one. So Breeze Rider Boots, it's the ninja equipment. It's a legs piece. When a ninja attack action card you control hits, you may destroy Breeze Rider Boots. If you do, attack action cards with combo gain go again this turn. As battle worn, so if you defend with this, put a -1 counter on it, so -1 shield counter on it when the combat chain closes, and it has 1 defense. So I don't know if the way that I have Katsu built, that I run this over Snapdragon Scalers. Like, because the point of Snapdragon Scalers is to give a mid piece go again if you don't have the opener, but you have, say, like the second piece and third piece in hand. Like, I like being able to play that second piece, give it go again, and then go into my third piece, which will then innately have its effect that it gets, or its bonus that it gets for being played after. But I don't think you want to burn through a bunch of combo pieces as attacks without getting their benefits. Like, I'm just thinking, like, open the center, just it becomes like a 2-cost, 3 attack, 4 attack, depending what color you're running. Like, having go again on that's fine, but it, I think it depends on how you build it, and it might be interesting to see what other ninja cards end up being spoiled for it. But right now, I'm still probably gonna run Snapdragon Scalers in like the deck I'm building in my brain. But we'll see. We'll see what else gets spoiled. And it looks hot. I want to run Ninja Armor, but
as a person who closely reads every card to see each individual detail. I've noticed a lot of the new armor cards have destroy to use their special ability. I don't know if you guys noticed that. I have, because I pay close attention to all of this.
Yeah, you do. You pay super close attention to what cards say, for sure. Yeah.
But isn't that interesting, though, that to get a lot of these abilities, you do have to destroy them to get the extra ability, which we didn't see as much on the first set.
As much. It existed, but yeah, no, definitely not as prevalent as you see in these.
Yeah, it's much more prevalent.
Yeah, Blake, any thoughts on my Breeze Rider boots that I'll be still trading you guys for, because it's Ninja, so.
Yeah, I mean, it is an interesting card just because the go again feels like an unnecessary thing, just because a lot of stuff in Ninja kind of exists in that world where if it hits go again, and like you said, it works for a middle piece, but to destroy something to go again once, it really feels like something you're going to end up saving for a long time.
Well, it's not even really the Ninja stuff primarily isn't even if it hits go again. Like all the combo pieces, they're all this card gains go again and then something else. So it's not the only card that's like contingent on hitting is the Soul Beads, the first one for the new spoiled combo chain. That one says if it hits go again. So I mean, so it's like I would just run Snapdragon Scalers to do that same thing and keep my chain going if I was setting up for that. So we'll see. We'll see what they come out with. Maybe they have like a bunch of good chain pieces that you'll want to run just the second piece in it. I don't know. We'll find out. On to the Guardian armor. Crater Fist. Jason, we'll let you take this one.
Oh, I love this card. So the reason this card is so great is because you are setting up for this type of turn. You're setting up your dominate turn, and the fact that most of your cards run the crush ability on it, and then you're giving it +2.
Yep,
so now for some, yeah. So action, 3 resources: destroy Crater Fist. Once again, another destroy. Your attacks with crush gain +2 this turn. Go again, and this also has temper, and it's a 2 shield. So once again, this is going for that big in blitz. This is amazing. You're setting up for the big turn where you're going with dominate, your +2 with your crippling crush. You might have Slogism out or emerging powers out to give it even more power so that you're coming in with a 15 attack with dominate. That's amazing. And it's not that hard to pull off, especially with Showtime crippling crush combination. So you have that out there, you're drawing a card, you're going to have plenty of resources to pull it off, and it's just going for a game winner with it.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. On to Skullhorn.
And it's pretty awesome looking.
Oh yeah, the art on Crater Fist is cool. I love how bright the Guardian art is. Just Arya as a whole, the aesthetic of Arya being like very mystical, like almost like Fey realmy if you're familiar with other.
And we notice it's not on Bravo, which is also super exciting.
Yeah, it's on a female Guardian, so maybe get a female Guardian out. So that'll be super exciting.
Super excited.
Yep. Skullhorn. So this is the Brute Equipment head. We'll just quickly go over this because Mark's not here. But action, destroy Skullhorn, draw a card, then discard a random card, go again. Arcane Barrier 2. I mean, no armor innately.
It's good for them because if they have a less than 6 card that they need to dump for their abilities, it allows them to kind of try to tutor, not a true tutor, but at least dump a card and try to draw a bigger card for their big intimidate swings.
Yeah. My only concern with that is that you're drawing a card first and then randomly discarding one. So you might draw another cheap one that you don't want. So it's kind of meh. It's weird, but it
looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and I'm sure that I'll get something good when I trade this to Mark after cracking boxes live on release day.
A lot of Arcane Barrier
2. Yep. All right, so that was it for the armor pieces. We're getting into some of the spoiled cards that we want to touch on that are just the class cards or generic actions. So, Arg Smash.
Nice.
Arg Smash.
Yep, this is a brute action. It's a 2-pitch, and it's a majestic, so it's not going to have a cycle. So it's a 2-pitch. It's a 3 cost, and it's a roll a 6-sided die, destroy up to X items, where X is half the number rolled, rounded down. Has go again. It's got 3 defense value. So talking about how we're kind of leveling out the mech meta.
This is the one that definitely has the ability to gatekeep mech a little bit, just because it isn't an armor piece. It isn't something that is a one of by any stretch. This is
Mhm.
something you can definitely run your 3-ofs and definitely keep mech off of you, which is, I think, good for the meta. Obviously, it's going to feel bad in classic dice fashion for somebody potentially, because
Not
you
me.
roll that one,
Not me.
like if I'm sitting across from Mark and he rolls that beautiful 6-sided die and it hits that one, and I'm playing Dash, just a big grin's going to come on my face that he spent 3 to destroy absolutely nothing. However,
what's
the
Dash run
opposite
for arms?
the opposite will happen when he rolls a 6.
I have to pull a Dane on this one. So I envision Dash on one side of the battlefield, all the other heroes come up on the other one, and they're like, Reinar, you got this one. Why don't you just go out there, you take care of this. We'll stay
Start
back and
smashing all her
watch.
equipment. Yeah, just clubbing down.
I think
all
it's
of her fancy.
I just think it's a great
bronze
meta
pieces.
controller.
Yeah.
That'd be yeah. It's one of those. It's one of the cards that creates an answer to sort of what the meta is as it stands now. And what does Dash run for arms?
For arms, I mean that's more of a flex spot. I don't think there's a specific.
I think now
arms
it's
piece that
Gambler's
you want.
Gloves.
I think now you probably run. You definitely keep them in the side there, but at the same time, I think what makes this a really interesting thing is that it doesn't necessarily control Dash. It doesn't control Dash because it rolls a 6. It controls Dash because of its existence. It makes you play a little different, where you don't get crazy, and you're not just going to throw everything out there, because it's going to feel bad. You're forced into doing things with Dash. You want the induction chamber, you really do. But maybe against Brute, you go, you know what? Maybe I don't run induction chamber and try to give my pistol go again. Maybe we go with the bigger gun. Maybe we try to hit big, and instead of putting out a bunch of induction chambers that could literally all be blown up in one turn by Reinar, maybe instead we hit bigger and we try to lean into the boost mechanic. And I think that's a cool sub-meta game inside the game, where now I sit down across from Brute and I don't just auto lose because you can roll a 6 and destroy all my items. I can just play a different game and go for a different approach, and it allows for more of a flexibility in the play style.
That amazing moment when Brute rolls a 4, Dash is like, psh, Gambler's Gloves. Oh, I just rolled a 6. That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, inconsistency.
Hello,
all right.
And that's where Dane's like, this is my game.
And Dane just smiles and goes, you idiots rolling dice.
I'm just laughing all the way to never rolling dice town.
He just does that.
Yeah. All right. Next, we got a Guardian action. Stamp Authority. This is majestic as well, so not a cycle. It's got 3 pitch value. It's a 3 cost. When Stamp Authority enters the arena, so this is an aura. When Stamp Authority enters the arena, if you have 2 or more cards in your pitch zone with cost 3 or greater, your hero gains +1 intellect until the end of the turn. While Stamp Authority is in the arena, attack action card effects do not trigger when they hit. At the beginning of your action phase, destroy Stamp Authority. It's got a 3 defense value. Jason, thoughts?
This is the most amazing card going into Bravo. You're increasing the intellect. The 2, 3 or greater is so easy once again with Seismic Surge, and the Tunic sets up these cards to make it easy, and you can still usually swing with your hammer as well for 6, but you're putting this in there so you're drawing up for your next turn. It might lead into a Showtime turn where now, especially in constructed, so you get your +1 intellect, you're drawing up to 5 cards. If you played a Showtime on that same turn, which you can stack your deck to make sure that happens, you're gonna have 6 cards. 6 cards.
Yeah, that's gross.
That is really gross.
That's really gross.
And if you get any amount of pummels with Dominate, I can't even fathom the huge Dominate swings that this card is gonna allow to do. I don't know. I love the card. Can't wait to have it.
I think its defensive ability to shut down those triggered attack action card effects is kind of backbreaking in the other side too. You set this out, you get your +1 intellect, and it's like, hey, I get an extra card. Hey, I I get to. It's one of those cards that it's so feel bad when it comes down if you're playing a deck that gets effects off of hitting with your attack actions, because now you just don't. You don't get that. And also, guess what? Bravo just got a bigger hand, and if they played a Showtime, I think it's one of those classic moments where you just go, okay, please God, let me have a defense reaction. I just need to put it in my arsenal so bad right now because I'm gonna get dominated for 30, and I need to just not die once.
In the Blitz format, it's almost a one shot. Like I don't know if it's possible at this point. But
was it Kale that was walking you through it, and he explained that 32 damage?
You can get it. I mean,
right. So you could get it, but that's more of a. Kale was walking you through more of an end game with last ditch effort. I'm talking you do 5 damage and the opponent's at 15. And I will say I lost a game in a mirror match where I was at 10 health because of the dominate destroyed me. So with the dominate, I was at 10 health and lost. So 15 health with this card. I mean, you could almost one-shot a wizard. Obviously, that's hard, and you have to have the cards right. But I'm just saying it's possible, which is
satisfying. Would that be to set up against a wizard player who's like, "I've got the new hot toys," and then you just literally turn one
shot him,
just completely. Well, I guess it would take some setup. It would take turn 2. Like you would need to set up for a turn,
right?
And then
turn 2,
one turn kill them. But
yeah, I'm gonna do 22 with dominate. Ooh, yeah, you don't quite have that. All right, good game.
Good thing I arsenaled this unmovable. Oh wait, you still win. Okay, cool.
It's exciting. Can't wait to have that card.
Yeah, it'll be good. All right.
So you guys will be trading me.
Yeah,
especially that one.
And another Guardian card. We've got Righteous Cleansing. This is another Majestic. So 2 pitch value, 7 cost card with Crush. So gets all the benefits from the aforementioned Stamp Authority. Crush, if Righteous Cleansing deals 4 or more damage to a hero, look it up the top 5 cards of their deck, banish 1 or more cards with the same name from among them, then put the rest on top of their deck in any order. 10 damage.
Good into Ninja.
Yeah,
good into Dorinthia.
Good into anything.
Everything.
10 damage, 3 defense. So, yeah. What are your thoughts?
And it's a yellow 7. So generally crippling crush was you're looking at a 1 pitch red with an 11 attack. This is 10, but looking at the top 5 and having the ability to, maybe you're looking for that last combo piece in Ninja, and I'm like, oh well, here's 2 of them. Boom, 1's gone. That's one less thing that you have to deal with that game. And if you're running 3 of this card, it's just another decision point in the game, which it's just making the game so much more dynamic for each player.
I think the thing that stuck out to me most was that they didn't print same name and color or same name and pitch value. The fact that they just put same name could potentially spell disaster if your deck just shuffled into an order where you've got a red, a yellow, and a blue with the same name that just so happen to be in your top 5. You get all of them. You get all of them. That's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. So my first thought went to the mirror. Like, could you imagine? Because you banish these cards, you don't discard them. Could you imagine their crippling crushes? Like, bye. Or were there remembrances? Or
just like there is no remembrance if you get rid of the crippling crush. You ain't remembering anything now.
No, I know, but I'm saying either of those. Like,
I know
you can
amazing.
take them from deck. It's cool. I think it's really. Just think it's gonna be super interesting. There's a lot.
And another super bloody art. Oh, it's so great.
Yeah, you do love that gruesome art. I do love head.
I do.
Or the the flavor text. This isn't dude, is it? No, it's not.
It's the same. It looks like the same dude in the back with the armor.
Similar. I'm not arguing you, Jason. We argue too much.
No, let's go right now, Dane.
All right, and the final piece got to end on my boy. Ninja Action Attack. This is a blue Majestic. It's a 3 pitch value, 0 cost. It's the final in the Crane Dance chain or the Soul Bead chain. It's Find Center. So this is the alternate to playing Flight of the Heron. So you've got Find the Center. It's combo. If Crane Dance was the last attack this combat chain, Find Center can't be defended by cards with a resource cost less than the number of chain links you control. And it gains, if this hits, create a Zen State token. It's a 2 damage, 3 defense. I love this card. Like, this is the chain that I'm running in Blitz.
Have we seen the token? What the token does? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so the token is play it with some sort of counter on it, and this token gets destroyed if you can't remove a counter from it at the beginning of your action phase. Remove a counter from it, and you, for every instance of damage you take, you reduce it by 1, and that's not once per turn. So Dash hits me for
That's good.
a 2, like say she 3 attack boosted, 3 attack boosted, 2 attack pistol shot, 2 attack pistol shot. That's 10 damage. I'm now taking 6 damage instead, just because every single one of those instances is reduced by 1. And then
That's a good token.
So I play it. Yep, that happens for the turn. Start of my action phase. I can remove a counter from it, so it doesn't get destroyed. And then it's in play for the next action phase, or my next defense phase. And I get that again. And then it comes back to my turn, can't remove a counter from it, then it gets destroyed. So I get 2 defensive turns out of 1 Zen token. So playing this, just getting it to go off once would be fantastic, but getting it a couple times, like running the Snapdragon Scalers and being able to start the chain halfway through, I mean, I'm super excited. I think that helps with a lot of the problems that we tried to play through in our live stream, where I was trying to mitigate damage and still put pressure on, and it just was not happening. So I think that having a token that just mitigates damage for me and lets me save my hand, I think is going to be pretty good. So we'll see how that plays out. But
I mean, the flavor text isn't nearly as good as Bravos or Guardians, I should say, but whatever.
From your home, draw strength. From your family, take heart. From the mists, find peace.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty dope. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm yawning.
It's like the ninja live, laugh, love.
It's the ninja equivalent. They've got that in like the acrylic letters hanging in their
They've got
living rooms.
they hang it in their they sit and have tea and they quote it to each other.
Yeah.
I'm drinking no tea.
Yeah. So as a final here, I'm just gonna quick pull up the Facebook group and see if there's any spoilers that have come out just since we started recording here, because I've got some notifications.
While you're doing that, Blake, what are you drinking over there? What is that dark substance?
That was just tea.
Because you're a coffee guy like me, but I mean, I'm not insane enough to pop the coffee at this late at night. So I was like, is he?
Oh, really?
It was either that or a dark beer, and I didn't know if you wanted to go down that path right now too.
All right, we got 2. There's 2 spoilers, and then there's some art. There's some art. Yeah, there's some art for hero or a character coming out. So the art that you loved for Mechanologist. This is our first Mechanologist spoiler, like class card spoiler. So it's the Meganetic Shockwave.
Are you gonna bring it up, or can't you pop it up? What class are we looking at here, Dane?
So we've got Runeblade Mechanologist, and the Runeblade card is good. I'm excited.
You know, Runeblade, out of all the classes, I will say Runeblade scares me the most. Because even we've played a lot, me and you, Dane. We've played a ton. I've played a ton into it. Runeblade's never done like tremendous, but it's always felt really, really, really bad. Like you've put on a ton of heat, and a lot of times I will just stall out and block with Bravo to essentially mill your deck. But I don't think that strategy is going to work with a lot of the new cards anymore. I just think that they've done a great job of making Runeblade a deck that could do something, could stir up the meta.
Yeah, definitely could. That's good. All right, here we go. Meganetic Shockwave. Go ahead and take her, Blake. Read it. I want your reaction.
I can't read it. That's the problem.
Oh, well.
Hold on. Let me see. Let me bring it up. Okay, I got it now. The defending hero must defend Meganetic Shockwave with X equipment they control, where X is the number of times you have boosted this combat chain.
They must. That's dirty. That is so dirty. With all the temper. Oh, that's dirty. So dirty.
I'm so happy. I love it. I love it so much. And it's blue. It's blue.
And it's only a 2 cost.
Oh, I love it so much. It's so good. That's so good.
So what we were saying about Mac getting ticked back a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's still ticked back. You guys shouldn't worry about it.
It is.
Oh my God, that's dirty. That's all I can say about that card. That's super, super dirty with all the tempered equipment. Create 4 rune chants because 3
Hold
wasn't
on.
enough. +1 because you played a non.
All right, now we got the Rune Blade up on screen. So we've got Rune Blade Barrier. So this is create 4 rune chant tokens. Oh, God, this is so good. So create 4 rune chant tokens. If your hero would be dealt damage, so this is an aura, stays in play. If your hero would be dealt damage, instead, destroy that many rune chants you control and prevent 1 damage that source would deal for each rune chant destroyed this way. At the beginning of
So
your
now you
action phase, destroy Runeblade Barrier. So it's live for a defensive turn. It's a 2 block. You're not going to use it for that. It's a yellow, so it is a 2 pitch. This is a majestic, so it's not a cycle. It's got 3 cost. So 3 cost, you're dropping this unless you break a chest piece. So yeah, it's create 4 rune chants, man. And then if you just go off on a turn and just to create a ton of rune chant tokens, like dude, I'm saving this for
really
Bravo.
flexible.
Yeah, dude, I'm saving this for Bravo when he plays out his.
Imagine going in, like having a plan to go in for a crippling crush because you set it all up with your showtime and your Runeblade player just drops Runeblade Barrier.
Runeblade Barrier, yeah.
Runeblade Barrier.
Yeah, dude, it's
I will
flexible.
say this.
You can use it offensively. You can use all those rune chants right off the bat and just be like, oh, I'm just going to pop you for a ton more. It's good.
It is super, super gross, but I'm so excited because of what it does for the meta itself.
Yeah.
So now all that ping damage that mech does, I don't care. Oh, Runeblade. Now you're not doing any damage or rune chant. It's just, so good. So good for the meta.
Oh, yeah. And plus this, like, oh, man. Now I'm thinking through, like, the different plays. Like, this coupled with using your defense reactions reduced to rune chant, where you create a rune chant for playing it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna block for reduce to rune chant, block 4, and also create a rune chant token, and then use that rune chant token to prevent another damage. It's like, dude, there's so many things you can do. It's super exciting.
Dane's like, Ninja who?
No, sorry. That's never going to come to that. Katsu's amazing. I'm excited for Iroh. I'm excited to play Iroh and Blitz. I do think that's going to be really interesting too.
I am too.
Yeah.
I think that with as I see Ninja Blitz being built out now, it's going to be Katsu, because you're going to want to be able to hunt that Zen State creator, the final one was that we literally just went over that I can't remember because it's late. But yeah, so, and then there was also art spoiled for.
Ooh, can we call it Dude?
Dude got spoiled.
Dude Junior.
I just feel like after all my bitching last week, they just smacked me in the face and said, well, here you go. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm an idiot. You're cool. I'm dumb. You're the best. I apologize.
We all know this already. It's worth noting.
You're smart. I'm dumb. You're right. I'm wrong. You're very attractive. I'm not as good looking.
All right. So this is what we got.
Out of the park.
So
That's
you
a
can
game.
see her there. I just pulled up the webpage. So we've got right here. We've got a nice.
Where is it?
Is that the question mark? That chick right there?
Question mark. Yep. Character.
Ooh. Great.
I'm excited to see how that shakes it up too. Just giving us more options, man. Dude, just options for days. I'm so excited.
So you know what's disappointing is they went black and white, so we can't tell if it's the same girl that was in the Guardian outfit on the Guardian spoiler.
No, it's not.
Like, you know how they would go black and white?
Enough. She's got swords. Like, I don't think so.
What's the
You think maybe Warrior?
Maybe. She's got 2 swords. Maybe that's Cintari chick.
Maybe those are those sabers. They have the curved handle similar to a saber.
They do. Who knows?
I'm gonna go. I'm guessing. I'm gonna say Warrior.
Yeah. Okay.
Warrior.
That'd be my guess.
It looks a little too clean for Brute. A little
just a little bit. But then again, who cares about aesthetic? The lobster claws could be a guardian weapon.
It's do test.
All right, guys, we've been going on and on here. So wanted to end the show on talking about live stream for release day. So we're all getting together, meeting up, and we are going to record live streaming box openings. Not sure how we're going to do it yet or the layout, but we're just going to all get together and crack a bunch of packs and show everyone watching and share what we open. Share the excitement, be able to see the cards that weren't spoiled live as we open them. So super excited for that, and then get some games in afterwards. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun time. We're just planning on gaming and talking fab all night. So
There's one game I'm excited about. Pit Fight. That's all I got to say.
Oh yeah, we're planning. I don't know if we're gonna live stream that. That might be a little more post production value coming in. But Ultimate Pit Fight, we're going for it too.
It's coming.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm excited for that. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
Just to like ease back on like all of our pressure on ourselves to like learn and be super competitive and like figure out pristine lines. Yep. So I want to do one last shout out here for TopDeckTCG.com. Reached out to us, did a lot of purchasing Star Wars Destiny, and they did a lot of work with content creators there. And Chris, the dude that reached out to us, seems like a really good dude. Looked at prices and just comparably, really their market prices. Then with our code Outcast Haven, all lowercase, all one word, it'll be in the description below. You get an additional 10% off, and they're stateside, so you don't have to wait for like shipping time and stuff. So check out their website for sure. Yeah, just appreciate that partnership. It's going to be good going forward. And any last thoughts, anyone?
Dude 2020.
Well, thanks everyone for watching, and we look forward to live streaming next week, putting out some more gameplay during the week next week, and then really excited for release day, as I'm sure all of us are. But hope that you decide to join us, subscribe for those notifications, like the Facebook page, and we will talk to y'all next time. Peace.
Thank you.